Well, I think if we can solve this issue, the big thing is, of course, that your smartphone will not become a dumb phone as soon as you cross a border. That's the case today. I think a lot of customers are afraid to get a lot of roaming charges, and that's why they switch off the roaming. From an operator perspective, you miss a lot of revenues that you could have if customers will keep their phones turned on while they're on holiday or on a business trip. I think we've seen some clear steps the last year. Big change since 1 year, I would say. Some operators have taken steps in order to fix the mobile data roaming. So I'm talking a lot about data roaming rather than voice roaming. That has been a longer shift. But in the last year, you've seen that there is a need for using services while you're traveling. And I think we will see big steps this year and the coming year. Well, my key advice will be to keep it simple. I think we have a great success with flat rate being a trigger for the end users to really use the services. And of course, we want to keep this local pattern even when you're traveling as a business user or as a tourist. So if you get the notion of that you can continue to use, you don't need to switch off roaming, then I think the potential is huge for the operator to gain more revenues than they have today. And our basic calculations tells us that this is a 1.5 billion euro business for the operators that is waiting for them. Well, I think they should keep the roaming charges, and I think there is a willingness for the end user to pay up to 4 to 6 times more than they're paying locally. So maybe you could pay the same amount per week that you're paying per month in your local country. But their fear is, of course, of losing money. But at the moment, they're missing an opportunity to make more money. So I think they need to be more proactive and start using different business models. The business models they are using today came from the voice business, and it was created 25 years ago. So it's time to change this. Yes, we see clear signs this year that some of the operators, some of the Scandinavian ones, some of the Germans one, T-Mobile has pushed for a new way of doing the roaming charges. And I think the whole sort of roaming community is starting to look into this question and sees the potential to make more money, and also offering more better services to the end user, and that there is a willingness to pay for the service that you have locally when traveling. Well, as I mentioned, I think there is a potential, and our calculation shows that there is 1.5 billion euros at stake for the operators to gain an incremental revenue on top of what they already have today. And of course, some of this money are spent using Wi-Fi at the hotels or a Wi-Fi hotspot or in a cafe. So there is a willingness from the end user to pay these charges, and we believe that it could end up being in the mobile operator's pocket instead. And you can use the device that you have already, and it's so much easier for the end user to continue to use their smartphone or their tablet. So I think this is a great potential. No, I don't think so. I don't think the commercial agreements should be regulated by politicians or regulators. But of course, they have a role in pushing. And I think it's good that they are pushing because this has taken too long time. But I think also if they are saying that the roaming prices will be exactly the same as in the local markets, maybe it's not up to them to decide. It's the commercial agreements between the end user and the operators that should solve this. And I think also we have a need for a changed business model. And rather than just reducing the price year by year, where you don't really have any uptake in the usage, I think it's preferred to have a business model where you pay per day or you pay per week. And it's easy to understand for the end user, and you have cost control. And I think the operators are trying to do this at the moment. So continue to push, but let commercial players solve the business between them and the end users. I think it will come, hopefully quicker than we expect. If you asked me 1 year ago, I would say within 5 years, but now I'm a little bit more positive, because some of the operators are starting to do things, like the Scandinavians, like the Germans, saying that this is not a fair price. We are now offering a bundled per day price, still quite high, but I think much better pricing than we have seen in the last years. So I'm much more optimistic that this will be solved by the operators and the end users, and there will be a push from the consumers when they see that this is offered by some of the players, and then the others will follow. So I'm within 1 to 2 years, I think we see a totally different landscape for roaming in Europe.